Engine 1 from Car 1. Car 1's on scene. If they've been command, give me a C.A.N report.
Welcome, everybody. This is Mike Goldstein, Stickers of the C.A.N report. Nozzle Tob, everybody. I am at Key City Fire Conference. I'm actually also with Mike Nasti of the Tip of the Spear, but he went outside to grab some lunch. So we're going to hit record and he's going to jump on in when he comes back. But I'm excited to have my two guests here, Trey Nelms and Dan Nelms. Man, I met you guys down at Bears of the Oath. The first time. That was over, what 2 years ago now, I think. And we hit it off. It was cool to talk with you guys. And I'm just excited to actually sit down with both of you. And we talked about doing this for a while when I first met you guys. Like, I got to talk to you guys and pick your brains and figure out what you guys got going on. Quick introduction, sir. Trey, could you tell everybody who you are?
Sure. Trey Nelms, been on the Nashville Fire Department. I guess I'm starting my 33rd year now.
Wow.
A district chief there. Just been around it my whole life. So a lifelong student of the game, I guess, and just try to sprinkle in and give back when I can.
Daniel Nelms, everybody calls me Chunk. I've been in Nashville now 15 years, currently assigned to a truck on the north side of the city. Man, I love truck work, but I love this job and the people in it. And our dad, who kind of got us started in this, obviously, always told us it's about giving back and passing on the small stuff that you have. So that's what we're trying to do while we're here or anywhere.
That's awesome. You guys have an amazing legacy. I mean, your dad, Trey, Dan. I mean, you guys just do it all. It was such a pleasure to meet you down south. And that was the first time I really get the introduction of both of you guys. And you do a lot of training. You said giving it back. And Trey, you've been doing this for a while though, for
For a minute.
for training, right? So when did you first start doing this?
Well, I guess first I need to say that rules were a little different in the 70s. Growing up in Nashville, it was pretty convenient for my mom if she had something going on, something she needed to do, to just drop me by the firehouse. And I'm talking about, I'm 5, 6 years old. So if they'd catch a run or whatever, I'd just hop on and go with Dad. And just, man, I just loved the whole atmosphere there. And it was very family oriented, as far as it was almost like having a whole crew of dads pretty much. So that's where I learned how to cook and change oil in my truck and all the other life skills, not just fire skills, but life skills. So it has been a lifestyle for me. It has not been a job or anything like that. It has been just something that I'm 52 now. So I don't know anything else. I mean, it's just something that has always been around me. It's that I've always seen. If somebody had a task that seemed like it was more than a one-person job, somebody from the firehouse or my dad's crew or whatever showed up to help. So this is just what I know and what I love still.
And so your passion and what you love is also what, Dan, you're doing as well. Did you start this by seeing the love and passion that everybody else above you has gotten?
For sure. I mean, like he said, anytime we had something going on at the house, it was firemen who came by and helped, and extra dads or extra uncles or whatever you want to say. And you saw how people interacted and you got to meet their families and all the stuff. And this is all I've wanted to do my entire life, with the exception of 2 weeks in my sophomore year of high school. I thought I wanted to be a preacher. It didn't work out so well. This is a way better calling for me than that was. But I love the Lord, and the Lord is great and allows me the opportunity to do all this kind of stuff.
It's going to be saving either way. You could save souls or save lives. So
That's
right.
Right.
So yeah. I got the tail end of Dad's career as a kid, getting to go and ride and hang out. And he's my brother, my much older brother.
Much older.
But he's almost been like having a second dad.
Right.
You hear a lot of people who say, I got into the volunteer fire service because my dad was volunteering, and you go do all the stuff with my dad. All the stuff that he got to do with our dad, I got to do with him. He carried me to my first fire. He carried me to my first penny and all that stuff. And now I'm trying to do that for other people too. So.
What is it that you guys love to do in the fire? So you said you love to do engine work. You're on the truck now, right?
I'm a truck guy.
Yeah, you love the engine, but you also do an engine, because you took a class at Bears when I first met you. And you did an engine class.
Yeah. That lecture I did, the long lines class.
Yeah.
Nashville never really had anything long lines, and me and him kind of put our heads together and started doing some long line stuff in Nashville. And that just kind of become one of those things that, hey, everybody knows how to stretch a cross layer. Everybody understands a bumper line or whatever. But when you start talking those out of the ordinary stretches, hey, I need 400, 500, 800-foot lines. Like, how do we do this? So I'm a truck man at heart, but I like the long line aspect because it requires that outside of the box thinking and all that stuff. So I did that lecture. I was actually had plans to do another lecture, and then Corey Thompson, like 2 days before I was going to do my lecture, is like, bro, you got to do your long lines lecture. And I said, man, I'm not prepared to do it. And he said, no, you got to do it. And I did it. And I did it there. And then I actually did it here last year.
Oh, great.
So it worked out really well.
Oh, that's very good. And you're going to be teaching here for this week at Key City Fire Conference. So what are you teaching?
I'm teaching a class. It's called Managing First Alarm Overload. Man, I don't care where you come from, if you're a big city, rural, suburban, whatever. Any of us could end up going to a situation where you're the first company that arrives and you bit off a little bit more than you could chew. Not you yourself, but just you think that you're going to go to something and either escalate it real quickly, or you're just overwhelmed because you've only got 3 people on one piece of equipment that's got a limited water supply and all this, and you got, let's say, a significant fire with victims trapped everywhere, and it's hard to prioritize what you can get done in this short amount of time with the skill level that you have and all those kind of things. So my class this weekend or this week is going to be geared toward the mindset of figuring out how to prioritize things and figuring out how to do more with less, and just, I guess, really being realistic about what you personally and your company and those resources that are coming on that first alarm, what they can do, and just trying to help prepare yourself for that. Because I think anybody most of the time can handle what we would consider a routine emergency, but what do you do when that escalates or it ends up being more than you thought?
It's great that you're doing that, because we talk a lot about short staffing. We talk a lot about trying to do more with less, and it's becoming more prevalent, which is interesting. You think it wouldn't be that much of a hot topic discussion, but it's actually, people talk about it a lot, because as much as we're trying to increase our staffing, it's not really happening. We talk about NFPA regulations all day long, but it seems to only suit those people when they're looking for, extra dollars and signs when it comes to different equipment, or, for certifications and certain stuff in their departments. But we always miss the train on staffing. I was just meeting the guys from Old South Fools in Mississippi, and they talk about that a lot, because they have like 1 person on the truck, 2 people on the truck, and they developed their own little system with squad by default about how, again, to prioritize what needs to be done. So for you, how did you come up with what is the priorities?
I'm going to tell you this isn't just about this class. This is kind of my career in a nutshell. A whole lot of stuff that I do has been driven by failure. So you thought that you had a plan and you get your teeth kicked in, or you go to some particular scene or incident and you think that you are prepared, and then you find out that you are not as well prepared as you thought. So it is taking those failures, and instead of dragging your lip on the ground or getting mad about it, you find a way to say, hey, we can use this bad or this I didn't do as well as I'd like, and turn it into something not only to better yourself, but you can improve the people that you work with, if that's your company or your district or your shift or whatever. And so that's kind of geared a lot of mine. It's been things that I thought that we could improve on, or things that just didn't go the way that I would like, that drove us to, find a better way.
She had a book of failures. Read that book.
Still writing it.
I'd say that's probably most of us, right?
Yeah.
You hear people say all the time, and I couldn't agree more with, there's not a whole lot of us that's coming in here making new tactics or new hose loads or anything like that. Everything we got's beg, borrow, and stole from somebody else. Hey, we made a fire. We did this. Hey, man, that sucked. I don't want to do that again. Hey, Mike, how do y'all deal with a situation like this? And so I build off that failure to create.
I love that.
New.
So who wants to hear from somebody that always does it perfect every time?
Right.
Because then they didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
And not at all saying that I'm perfect or any of that, but my district that I have now, shout out to District 4B, Nashville. Y'all are always rocking it. I'm proud. But we have had enough success now that the bar is so high for us, not only amongst ourselves, but on our shift in our department, that the acceptance of failure is minuscule. So it is a pressure for sure. It's a stressor, but I kind of look at it as the pressure being a privilege, but it's a weight that you feel like that, man, I can never, just because of who Chunky is, I know that he feels it as well, that everybody thinks that you're going to perform to this super high standard. And if the cards that you're dealt that time don't let you, it's like you failed or you let somebody down, or like I said, it's just not good. So, and I don't know how you overcome that. Like I said, it's a privilege to be in that spot, but sometimes it's just a lot to weigh on you.
It's great when you raise that bar and you work hard, continuously raising that. Okay, we're good here on this day. All right, now we need to raise it higher. And you do it without like trying to tax people or break them, but every mission you have, you're succeeding and raising that bar to a point where you're like, okay, now we can't go back to number 1. We're already at number 8.
Yeah.
And you just have that level that keeps rocking it.
So RJ.
This is RJ. And so with that, you guys, you've also done trainings though. You've been a big face with fire engineering, right?
Yeah, we've done some stuff there. Yes, sir.
And that was really cool to see. And you really did a lot with like groundbreaking training with before anybody even knew about a lot of that stuff with fire engineering. Because now if you look back in those videos, right, there's a lot of those old school videos out there that people look up, and when I say, hey man, Trey Nelms is doing this and that, especially the younger generation, they're like, well, who's that, right? But then I go, okay, play this video and now learn. And it's amazing to see what you guys have done.
A lot of those videos, I would say, are over 20 years
Yeah.
old now, which is crazy.
And it's cool to see that. That's why I was so blessed to be able to train and see Dan at work at Bears of the Oath and bring it. It was really beneficial. And I got to like see you on even doing the command side of things, the way you coordinated everything, orchestrated everything. You just don't just jump in and say, okay, I'm gonna help be command. You have that skill and you have years of knowledge of putting it all together and remaining calm, whether it's a fire scene or these training scenarios, because there's a lot going on, because just because it's not an actual live event where other people's lives, but if we're doing live fire, that's serious. People's lives are still at risk.
Yeah.
Because if you're not doing it right, someone's going to get hurt or injured. We see it and we read it, right? So to have that knowledge and be able to coordinate and orchestrate that, how did you gain that?
Well, so it's a tier setting. Our dad was kind of the guy who brought ICS to the forefront in Nashville.
He was doing it when it wasn't cool.
Yeah.
For sure.
He fell in love with it, going out to California and doing stuff with, back when it was the California Department of Forestry, and doing stuff like that. And he came to Nashville and he was way ahead of his time. And people were so resistant. And then here we are now, 40 years, 50 years since Dad was trying to push that. And he's one of the guys in Nashville that's pushing a lot of our changes with the way that we establish command and division and group supervisors, and the way our communications are on the radio. And because I got to listen to those guys, and then I've been able to travel and be at all these different conferences, like one of the guys at Bears, Webb, phenomenal at what he does, the command and control side of things. And I mean, this past, whatever was last month when we were doing the stuff in Calhoun, I felt like I was handling stuff pretty good. But when Webb came for that last day, like there was just that extra bit of calm that kind of came. So having good mentors and stuff like that, that you've been able to lean on and grow and all that stuff, that's where all that comes from. So
yeah. And it's great to have those, like you still have those mentors, and you might have been doing the job longer, but there's somebody else that just has a different way of looking things and that calm demeanor. They still then become your mentor. And for me, I'm always drawn to people who have that quiet command system of them. Like the screaming is not there, the yelling is not there, then they don't need to demoralize anybody. It's that they could tell they're dialed in, they're solid, and they're there to help everybody to do strong work and to bring something back. And that's why the people I look up to, like you guys, it's such an honor, because I see the work you do and I watch what you guys, I'm always watching from the sides of either I see things online or I see things in the drill yard, and I'm always in awe of see how everything works together and how well you guys can accomplish a mission.
Thank you. We're just trying to do our...
You guys really are. So what's it like? you guys have this legacy, right? And you guys have this awesome name that does because of your hard work and what you guys do. When you guys are on shift, do people act differently around you? Do you have pins and needles?
I don't think so. Not for me, at least. I don't think so. If you're looking for honesty,
That's the only policy, sir.
if you're looking for honesty, there's two types of people in the Nashville Fire Department. You either love the Nelmses or you hate us. There's not there's not
Fair
middle
statement.
grounds. The people who love us are all about us. They'll support us in everything we do and all stuff. And then the people who hate us, hate us to our core.
Wow.
And most of the time, it's just because we hold a high standard of the way that people do business. And I actually just had this conversation with a guy the other day. We might be over the top, as some people would say, into the job. Like, I don't have outside hobbies. We don't hunt. We don't fish. Although he has got into low riders, square bodies, and stuff like that here.
That's okay. I like that.
Couple years.
That's
Yeah,
very cool, man. Yeah.
Like, we don't fish and hunt, do all that kind of stuff. Like, this job is what we do. So people are like, man, y'all are too into the job, which, as this was the saying go, can you be too into a job that can kill you?
Yeah. Or are you just on the job? Or are you into the job?
Yeah.
Right.
So those people say, hey, those guys, all they want to do is fire, fire, fire. They need to take a break. They need to think about something else. And so I think because we hold that high standard, that other people think that we're better than them, when the reality is we're just like everybody else. We fail like everybody else does. We have the same struggles that everybody else has, whether that's making money work at home or screaming kids, or you're not seeing your wife enough, or whatever that looks like.
I think it becomes, I don't even think people understand that they're coming off that way. The people who have the negative point of view is that they don't understand that they have this hindsight of being threatened. When you see somebody succeeding or you see somebody doing well, especially somebody who's really ingrained into the job and love it and has a passion, it becomes a threat to them and they don't even know they're being threatened. That's why I think that's the reaction, is that they're having the animosity and the negative point of view, is that because they just don't understand that in the back of their mind, like, who is this guy? Why is he telling me this? Why is he so passionate and why am I not passionate? I think that's why people get a little bit of a threat about it, is that they don't even know why they're feeling that way. It's just a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. Man, I think a lot of people in the fire service have that fear of, I don't want to speak up because I don't want people to know that I don't know, especially if it's officers, whether it's company officers or chief officers, or, hey, I am an officer and people expect me to know. And then they don't. So
it's a huge fear. It really is. That's why you see people when we do these trainings, right? And just what we had it today with Dan Shaw, right? And he's asking a person a question. They're afraid to answer that question. One is in the group of people that they don't know anybody about, right? They're here with a bunch of strangers, and I don't want to speak up, right?
Nobody knows.
You don't know anybody, but especially when, like you just said, though, when you're in a group of your own peers in your own department, and it comes to do work, and you don't perform that well, that anxiety level shoots right up, and then they feel like they're getting called on the carpet. But they're not. They're just, you have those standards and those expectations. And I think that's when they start to get that animosity, is like, why are you calling me out? I'm not calling you out. I'm just asking you to do your job. This is legit your job. And we all have that standard, and we all expect you on my department and my squad that we all have this standard.
Yeah. I guess the good thing for us is our organization's big enough with 3 different shifts and 40 different stations. If you don't like the flavor that you got, you can go somewhere else. In my little piece of the pie or whatever, this is the standard that we're going to hold. This is the way that we're going to do business. So if you don't want to do business that way, then get on out of my district, kind of thing. So, and that's not to be ugly or any of that. If you want to come out here and learn and develop and improve, then we want you. But if you're going to try to come out here and pull everybody else down, then you ain't gonna make it roll.
Well, but then if they hide, they're still not learning, and they're failing, and no one's telling them they're failing. And I speak openly about it, that I think we should be critiqued. I think we should have good feedback. You don't have to, again, step on their necks to get the message across. Right. If you do it in a constructive manner, they should hopefully get better. And one of the presentations that always stands out for me is Clyde Gordon. And he talks about Danny, who had this training failed him. And Clyde goes into detail. He's like, I failed him as an officer, as a senior guy. We just let him creep on by. He hid and he went to the slow stations because no one could fix him. And ultimately it cost him his life. And like you just said, you can go to a different house if you want to, but eventually that's just going to hurt that person. And it's going to be a 25-year member with 5 years of good training and experience.
I want to make sure I preface all this with saying we work for a good fire department. We have a bunch of solid officers and a bunch of solid firemen and also, so I hope it doesn't sound like we're running our fire department into the ground. I mean, you go to these conferences and you find out everybody's got the same issues. It doesn't matter if it's Nashville or if it's Derby or if it's Wichita or whoever. Everybody's got what's the 80-20 rule, right? 80% of the people do 20% of the work. 20% of the people do 80% of the work.
No, you're absolutely right. And again, it definitely it's always good to say that we're not reflecting upon our own department. It's just experiences we've had in life. And like you said, that's all walks of life. That's why I love going to these fire conferences, is we all get to talk about the same thing. And we get to see the same thing. And the students come up to us and say the same thing, right? They say, I have this in my department, or I've seen this here, I've seen it there. How do I fix it? What do I do? I imagine you guys get a lot of questions with that too, right? Like, hey, I love what you're doing. I love your standards. I love your training. How do I get this in my department? Do you get a lot of questions like that?
I think so.
Yeah, I'd say so.
What are some things that you try to instill in them or coach them along? Because you can't change the departments from your seat, right? You don't work in Dairy, you don't work in Wisconsin. So when someone comes up to you and says, hey, help me change my standards, or I want to do this hose load instead, but you don't work for this, you don't have that influence. It's a tough question.
Just me, I think you got to start with yourself, because that is where you can institute a change. So, and if what you're doing is a positive, I think everybody on this job knows that it is going to have some influence, and it is just going to trickle out, and the people that you work with or on shift with or in the same firehouse with are going to see, and they're going to be like, hey man, why are you doing that? Or could you show me how that works? Or when you went to a fire and the hose load came off flawlessly, or you threw the ladder with, just expertise and put it right where you wanted and did everything, to be like, man, I was watching. I want to be able to do that. So I think you got to start with yourself first, and it'll trickle out.
Yeah. And I couldn't agree with that more. One of our shift commanders, one of our assistant chiefs, who was our assistant chief for a while, is currently on C shift, told him, and then he later told me, when I would go to these conferences and I would sit in Goldstein's class and I pick up this tip and I say, hey, when I come back to work, we're doing this now and we're making this change right now. And you expect that change right now, when the reality is it's not going to come that easy. So Chief Moyer's always said it's a game of inches. Inches equal feet, feet equal miles. So rather than trying to make this immediate giant change right now, you start with yourself. I make a small change with myself. Chief Shaw said it this morning. You get out there forcing doors. Everybody's going to be like, look at this know-it-all. Look at this guy out here, thinks he's better than us and all stuff. And then the next shift when you're out there, somebody's going to be like, hey, Trey, I saw you doing this. Can you show me this? And so then the next shift, your whole crew's out there. And then once your whole crew gets it, the neighboring firehouse is like, hey, man, I heard that y'all were doing.
Yeah.
And so it starts small and work your way up.
I think we've all heard those kind of buzzwords, but it really is culture change. So it's with you, and then it's going to affect your single fire company. So when I was a captain, that's what I'm ultimately responsible for, Engine Company 6. So if we're doing this, then like he said, the neighboring firehouses want to get together and run a drill or do something, or they saw something on a call that you made together, and then you get opportunity to share it. And then eventually for your whole district, that becomes the culture of, hey, this is how we do business here out south or wherever it is. And then eventually you could affect another district, which then affects the shift. And it's just, like I said, it's just the snowball rolling downhill. You just got to get momentum, and you're going to pick up some good stuff along the way.
Yeah, you guys really nailed it with that. And I couldn't agree more, is that because when I remember at my first conference where I learned a lot, I was hot and heavy to go right into my department and go, let me show you everything I learned. I want to do it this way. And I learned real quick, like that's not going to be, it's not really going to win the war, you know? I'm slowly integrate that, like you said, let me show you a little bit something here. Let me show you a little bit something here, because you're absolutely right. Everybody's different. Every department's different. And starting with myself and getting those skills and reps down pat, then they'll see it and go, man, yeah, Mike threw that ladder pretty well. Show me how you just did that. How did you do that load? Like, that's cool. Why haven't we seen that? And that slow momentum really does build and into a huge, like it's a big snowball where you can actually, now the department's all buying into it. I love it. You got anything there, Mike?
I do.
I know you do.
Late to the party. Catching up on I do think change starts within, right? Something that my wife says a lot, and I heard a lot growing up, but more so from my wife, is you can't control what happens. All you can control is how you react. The only person you can control on your shift and your firehouse and all that, beyond, within reason, obviously, but you can only control yourself, right? So all change starts with it. It starts with your attitude, how you carry yourself, what you believe in, and leadership by example. Leadership by example can happen at any level. You don't have to be a district chief or a lieutenant or a captain, none of that. If you truly want to affect change, you start to affect change with yourself. And then you bring it to your shift. And I promise you, like you just said, actually, I think you might have said, I apologize. They'll come back. Hey, well, how did you force that door? Right? It starts with the individual, then the shift, then the station, then the battalion or district, however you say with it. But ultimately, it is literally one event at a time, one day at a time, one call at a time, one shift at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 month at a time, and so on. That's all you can control, is how you react to anything. So what I think is, like I said, change starts from within. And if you truly embody whatever that change is that you want, and you genuinely move forward with that attitude, I think you might get a lot more traction than you think. The reason why I say this is, and this is my personal example, there was a situation that happened in my department. They went out for an automatic alarm. Long story short, working fire, bunch of problems. And that's all I'm going to say. For me, it's like, well, that's interesting. Maybe I should start putting my pants on for automatic alarms.
I was
right?
about to say
That's a
no
nationwide
gear.
thing. I mean, not nationwide, but that's it. I think that's a common thing. So what I started doing was, and I had outspoken people, and I say that with the utmost love and respect, and walking in and demanding things, that's not how that works. You know what I mean? Like, you're in charge, but they kind of control your day, if you know what I mean. So I had the opportunity. I was like, you know what? Instead of me coming in, barking at them, say, you will put your running pants on any automatic alarm. So I put my pants on. Took about 4 hours on a shift. Hey, why do you keep putting your running pants on for automatic alarms? I was like, well, to be honest with you, I got to talk on the radio and do a few other things. You guys can just get dressed and run in. I'm going to throw my pants on and take one step out of it. Just seems easier. Throw my coat on. I don't got a whole lot of room. And it's just, one less chance for me to be caught with my pants down. Pun intended, right? That was it. And I think we ran one about 3 or 4 in the morning. Guess who had their pants on? The lineman. The next shift, guess who had their pants on? Everybody.
Yep.
And did I have to go in and bark orders? No, I didn't. Does that change culture, attitude, tension, all those things in the firehouse? No. But it is possible, but all change starts from within. And no matter how much, and that's the thing, and I think you might have said it, you can't complain and bitch about things that happen in your department when you do absolutely nothing to fix it. You have the ability to spend the time and say, this sucks, that guy sucks, that guy, this guy, that guy, but you do absolutely nothing about it. You have a great opportunity. But how much do you know if everybody's terrible, but you do nothing to fix it?
Yeah, it's easy to come with problems.
Correct.
Bring the solutions with you.
Yeah.
Correct. Or at least make an attempt.
Yeah.
Or just keep your comments to yourself.
Or just honestly, open conversations is great. Like, if there's a hose load you don't like, again, you walk in and go, I don't like this. This is bullshit. Maybe ask your crew and your shift, like, hey, what do you think about? I'm just throwing out there trouble, but just saying, like, hey, I like this hose load. What do you think? Are you having problems with this hose load? Because I saw a new way to do it at this conference. Maybe we could try to implement something different. Let's try both. Let's try working with it. And it could be like 3 people just hanging out, working on it and go, yeah, you know what? This worked. Let's tweak it a little bit to our district. And then, like you said, slowly that buy-in kicks in. And before you know it, you now got a whole shift doing it. And then it really is that gradual effect. But I think also having that buy-in, and for me, I was asking my department on hose loads, and I literally just would survey every crew that I met, every shift, every time I worked. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? I don't like this. I like this. So we start asking the questions of the why. And it really helped to open up that conversation. And again, it just takes that one person to open up that conversation, go, hey, why do we do this way? I have no idea. Like literally, that would be the feedback. I don't know. We just done it that way. The way we've always done it. But asking the why, and I love the fact that honestly, I think that when we talk about culture, I think the culture shift has also opened up to a better world where we're asking some of the newer people to ask the questions why. We talk about it all the time. What is your why? Whether you're on the department or why we're doing things. And I think we've actually opened that world up to the younger generation. I want you to ask the why. Do you see that with your shift in your department or within general when you're doing your trainings? Do you find more young people to come in now and asking the whys?
For sure. Actually, again, I just had this conversation with somebody the other day when Trey was in school, when he got hired on the fire department. It was sit down, shut up, listen to what we have to tell you, and this is the way you did it. And then as generations have gone on, the people that we're hiring nowadays on the job, the people that new folks that are coming to these conferences and stuff, don't learn the same way that he learned back in the day, or all us in the middle learned. So they want to know, okay, this is what we're going to do. Why? Is there another way to do this? How did you come up with this is the best solution?
Yes, sir.
And so I think we're seeing a ton of that. I mean, Bears, the C.A.N conference, I got to help a little bit with the 575 guys doing the C.A.N conference last month. And a lot of people were like, hey man, I've never, like, who would have thought bringing a water can? Why would I not just stretch a line? I'm like, okay, you're on a first due special service, whether it's a truck or a rescue, or hey, you're riding a Chiefs buggy that's got a can in it and you roll up on this and you got something that you can control the fire with, or any of that kind of stuff. Look how much work you can do with 2.5 gallons of water. And when you really start to give them the why, the science, the statistics and all the stuff behind it, it's like, light, you see that light turn on and it's like, oh my gosh, like this is game changing. Somebody was telling me, somebody that was in that class sent me a message. I wish I could remember what it was on Facebook, and said, hey, you're one of the only people that I recognize from the C.A.N side of things. We made a fire the other day. I was on the med unit or the rescue or whatever they called it. We got there first. We got there first and held the fire in check, closed the door, contained it to, I mean, it's a laundry room fire, whatever. Right. And they probably could have put it out with the can all the way, but they held it in check enough, kept it off the door, closed the door. The engine was pulling in. They said they started seeing the fire roll out around it. And we're like, man, that C.A.N class changed the way that I'll forever look at it.
That's great.
Okay, so
I think people truly underestimate how much you can really do with 2.5 waters, 2.5 gallons of water.
Yeah.
I think they fully underestimate it, but it's also because a lot of times they may not have had the opportunity to be shown it, which kind of goes into exactly everything you talked about of just creating that, not creating the change, but creating or being impressing things among young people, younger guys in the department, or pushing off your knowledge to others. Because I believe I walked into that part.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's where I walked in. Sorry for being late. But that's where I walked into, but it circles back to when I came in was, that's exactly what it is. It's what you impress among conferences like we're here now. You can really give them something to take back to their department, I think. And I think the best way to change anything is by going out and doing it, and being here is a good way to impress change. Like you said, guy reached out to you on Facebook. It's the opportunity to reach out to you. Could
you never hear about it.
Yeah. You never hear.
It's great though, because we do live in a world, obviously, of social media where everything's at our fingertips. YouTube, Instagram, all those videos and all those clips are there, but they never actually do it. They see it and they put on the truck, go, hey, we're going to do this, but they've actually never done the skills. And now the fact that it's become more prominent of doing the skills at these conferences, like a C.A.N confidence course. I mean, I can only imagine, right? You didn't have those. You weren't teaching that, right?
We didn't have any.
Right.
I was coming up. You had to wait for Firehouse and Fire Engineering magazine to come in the mailbox. I'm telling you, that's what it was. So yeah, we didn't have any of that.
And now you actually get to do this under live fire conditions. Eric Wheaton doing his C.A.N confidence course. I was just at March Mayhem, watched them do that whole course. Bears of the Oath, same thing. 575 Fools doing a C.A.N confidence course. It's become more prevalent that people are starting to do those more. They want to see that kind of work because again, they hear about it, they watch it, but they actually never get to do it. So when they actually get to do that skill and that rep, because it's very clear, like people, they misread things like, oh, I got the can, I'll put the fire out. And then you guys are teaching them, no, you're not putting the fire out. You're just holding it for a second so we can actually go do a search, close that door, and then carry on. And because the old school was, here's the can, plop it down. It's a great door jam. It's a great door stopper, and then go ahead and search a room. And oh shit, I need water now. Oh, it's over there. I forgot it. So it's great that these classes are becoming more prevalent with newer ideas. It's not newer per se, but the tactics newer, right?
I also like the fact that there's a big push culturally for practical training and practical evolutions rather than I do it, you watch me do it. Y'all good? All right, cool. So like Bobby Eckert probably will never watch or listen to this. But anyway, he really hangs his hat on realistic, proven skills and tactics. And then he turns around and created an entire format with props and materials and legit stuff that he himself has experienced. So he himself creates that culture of what they want to teach. And he has instructors that are of a shared mindset and they push that off. They're able to do that practical training, right? I think he was the first one to do that. But anyway, the point that I'm making is you're seeing a lot more of that. And the best part about it, that at least in my personal opinion, I've seen so far, the guys that take the time to really make that class a reality are sharp. They've experienced it. They know what they're doing. They're not just another guy. And then there's nothing wrong with being a guy presenting, but like, it's a different level. So like what you guys are doing, what some of these other Eric Wheaton's doing, what Eckert's doing. It's just
RJ&M Capital.
Street level knowledge.
It's street proven, not street level, street proven. Like you have done this on a fire with the water can. This is why it's going to work. It's proven.
That's what I love about you. And that's what I love about these guys. Like Trey and Dan, 30 years of experience of doing it in the streets. Yes. And it's not just something you're just reading in a book. You guys are bringing that street knowledge, and I love that more. I think that's why I think it's becoming, especially you see more younger people at these fire conferences, because they want that street knowledge, not the textbook. Because we always hear at the academy, we have to teach you in the academy. Here's the box you got to check, and they're like, I'm going to show you some other stuff I actually do in the street. It's going to work for you a lot better.
This is the academy. Let's show you reality.
Yeah. So I love it. And I love that we actually get to sit down with people like you that are doing such good things in the fire service. And it's always an extreme honor. And I kind of fanboy out because this is really what I live for, man. This is what I love doing. This is why I built this platform, is to be able to talk with people and get that knowledge out for people to understand. Like, you can go up and talk to people who are doing such great things in the fire service and bring it right to your front door if you want it.
Yeah, we're humbled that you asked us to come be a part, both of you. And then we're honored that we get to travel and come to Key City, or we're at Bears with the Oath, or next month we're in Kansas teaching, or wherever it is. Like we're honored that we get to do that kind of stuff. And like we said in the beginning, pass on a couple small tidbits that we've learned. Hey, we had this failure. We don't want you to have the same failure. Let's fix this. Hey, try this tidbit. Hey, I made a storage unit fire, 3 shifts ago now, and the first crews who were cutting doors were trying to do the TP cuts, and it was taking this long. What if we just cut this latch, and like small stuff like that improves all that stuff. So
what I love about you guys, though, is for me, it was always is that you never made me feel less because I'm not a big city. I think that's what really takes for a lot of guys, is that they really like to listen to you guys because you make them feel like you're the same. We're all the same. We all do the same job, right? Pull the hose out, we put water on the fire, and the fire goes out. But what I like about you guys is that you really are just super humble, and you just love being around firefighters who just love the job. And when I originally met you at Bears the Oath, it immediately made me feel welcome. And I didn't feel like I was less than nothing because I didn't come from a big city, and I hadn't been doing the job for 30 years. And, I maybe make five fires in maybe 2 years. You guys don't care. As long as you're here to learn and make it better, that's, you guys were all about that. And that's why I appreciate you guys so much.
That's it.
Well, thank you.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. Anything else you got there, Mike Nasti?
That was really good.
All right.
So that's a great way to start wrap it up. But no, I just think, I think you guys are great. Just keep doing what you're doing. Obviously, I mean, you know that. And I think to kind of touch a little bit on what you said, when you have people that are out and instructing, and it's about the skill and people being better. How you vent a roof in Nashville on a wood frame house, probably pretty close how you're going to vent the roof on a wood frame house in Texas. You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff is the same. I don't want to say it doesn't matter if you're a big city or not, But one thing that doesn't matter, one thing that will never change. You could be New York, you can be wherever. None of that matters. The attitude and the desire to be better, I think, is universal anywhere.
Yeah.
You just apply it to the finite, whatever's finite to your area that you're working in. Like what I do in Maryland is different than what you guys are gonna do in Nashville. But if I want to be there, you want to be there, we're probably gonna end up in the same place.
Yes,
You
sir.
train, I train, we're gonna probably end up in the same place. You give a shit, I give a shit. We're gonna, you know what I mean? It's all the same thing. But I think where you have the collective attitudes and people being in the right reasons is why this works, and then why those things ultimately, I think, will make the fire service itself successful. I just don't think, I think you just hit a really great point. I don't think it matters where you work as long as the attitude is there.
Mhm.
and
Absolutely.
the shared desire to be there.
The passion, the drive, and the dedication. Absolutely. So after Key City, you said you got some other conferences you guys are going to.
Teaching for a fire department in Shawnee Heights, Kansas, which is just outside of Topeka. I don't think we have my Fools chapter, the Fools chapter that he started. It was the original president and all that stuff. We have a conference or a little class that we do like the first weekend in May every year called Light and Fight. And it's not really like instruction. You come, we break you up into groups, and you just run evolutions. And it's like 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes at each evolution. And we'll do like there's a force entry and a C.A.N confidence station that's together. You get VES, you get first floor fire attack, like whatever it is. Not a lot of teaching, it's just an opportunity for people to come get reps. So
Like that.
I'm doing that the first week in May, and then I'll be back up in the Northeast. I'll be in Jersey in June for the Central Jersey Fire Conference.
All right.
I'm doing a lecture based off of my article that me and you talked about.
Mhm.
Truck work, keep it simple. And then I think
That was a great article, by the way.
Thank you.
And that's currently in Fire Nation?
Fire engineering.
Fire engineering.
And then I think I'm staying to help a couple guys do some force entry on the last day there. So there's still registration open for Central Jersey.
All right.
This
Central
out.
Jersey. All right. Awesome. And so if anyone wants to get a hold of you, if they're curious about whether your articles, your trainings, how can they get a hold of you?
We're on most of the socials, I guess Instagram and Facebook, we're on there. Nelms Fire Company on both of those. And then we've got a website, relatively newly updated and all that stuff, NelmsFireCompany.com. You can hit us up on our personal stuff or whatever.
All right.
Daniel Nelms or Trey Nelms. And yeah.
All right.
We love talking to firefighters, and we travel anywhere. We'll travel anywhere, supply Diet Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew, that's right. Diet Mountain Dew.
That's it.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much
Yes,
for the
sir.
great
Thanks for having
conversation.
us.
You're welcome. Thank you, my friend.
Sir, thank you. Yes, sir.
All right. Key City Fire Conference 2026, Frederick, Maryland. Mike Nasti, Mike Goldstein, Trey Nelms, Dan Nelms. I appreciate you guys. And I like to end my podcast, even though we are collaborating with this. I love to do my little nozzle talk. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
All right. So if we all can do it together, stay safe, be well, and nozzle top. That was really good.